You've watched yourself do it. Everything was going well, better than well. You were close. The goal you'd been working toward was within reach. And then something shifted, not outside you, inside you. A decision that didn't feel like a decision. A delay, an excuse that felt completely legitimate at the time. A sudden, total loss of momentum that you couldn't quite explain and couldn't quite stop. And afterward, sometimes immediately, sometimes weeks later, you had to sit with the quiet knowledge that you did that. You pulled back, at the finish line, when it actually mattered. Not because you couldn't do it, but for some reason you didn't. The standard explanation for this is laziness, or fear of hard work, or a lack of discipline. None of those are correct. What self-sabotage at the finish line actually represents is something far more specific and far more counterintuitive. It is the behavior of someone whose nervous system has decided, at a level below conscious thought, that success itself carries a threat. Not failure, success. And once you understand what that threat is and where the nervous system learned to detect it, the behavior starts looking like exactly what it is, a protection mechanism executing with precision against the wrong target. I'm Dr. Evan Cole. This channel is the neuroscience underneath human behavior, mechanism-level explanations for why people do what they do. Not self-help, not motivation, the documented reason. If this is your first time here, the archive is worth your time. Today, the psychology of self-sabotage at the finish line. Why people who are fully capable of success systematically undermine it. Let's be precise about what self-sabotage is and what it isn't. Self-sabotage is not simply failing. Everyone fails. Self-sabotage is a specific pattern. The person possesses the ability to succeed. The circumstances are favorable. And the person takes action in a way that prevents the outcome they say they want. The key word there is say. Research finds a gap between what people consciously want and what the deeper system is prepared to tolerate. The conscious mind has a goal. The nervous system has a different set of priorities. And when they conflict, the nervous system wins. What we are really studying today is that conflict. Why does the nervous system resist success? What is it protecting against? To understand self-sabotage, you need to understand one of the most important functions the nervous system performs. The nervous system doesn't just protect you from physical danger, it maintains what researchers call a self-concept. A working model of who you are, not who you want to be, who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve. This self-concept is built early, through experience, through the feedback of caregivers, through the outcomes of early attempts. The nervous system is not primarily oriented toward happiness. It is oriented toward consistency, predictability. Think of it like a thermostat. A thermostat doesn't care whether the temperature is comfortable. It cares whether it matches the setting. If the setting is 65 degrees and the room warms to 72, the thermostat doesn't enjoy the warmth. It triggers a correction. The nervous system operates on the same logic, but the set point isn't temperature, it is identity, the level of success that matches the model. When you're about to achieve something that doesn't fit the model, the system triggers a correction. It produces anxiety, avoidance, fatigue. Not because success is dangerous, but because success that doesn't match your self-concept is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is dangerous. Nathaniel Branden called this psycho-consistency. We are driven to act in ways consistent with our self-concept, even if it's false. Chaos is the known state. Calm feels like the setup for something bad. So when life stabilizes, the nervous system registers an anomaly. The sabotage is the correction. It enforces the identity it knows, because it makes the world predictable. Predictability is worth any cost. There is a second mechanism, success-based threat responses. The fear of visibility. When you succeed, you become visible. Exposure. Fear of exceeded expectations. Succeed once and the benchmark shifts. The ceiling you broke through becomes the new floor. Success is not just an outcome, it is a transformation, new responsibilities, new versions of yourself that have to be inhabited. Self-sabotage at the finish line rarely announces itself. It arrives disguised as reasonable behavior. One more round of revisions. The relationship is going well, and you pick a fight over something you can't fully explain. The goal conflict is unconscious. It is two systems with incompatible goals running simultaneously, and the system with access to the body's behavior is winning. The research is clear. The thermostat can be reset, but the reset requires more than conscious intention or motivation. What changes the set point is accumulated evidence, delivered slowly enough that the nervous system can integrate it. Gay Hendricks called this expanding the upper limit. Build tolerance for positive outcomes through repeated exposure to small successes. First, making the pattern explicit. The moment of sabotage is much harder to execute when you can name it in real time. Second, identity work. Examine and revise the specific beliefs the system is enforcing, where they came from, and if they still apply. Third, graduated success exposure. Pursue and complete smaller goals to build tolerance. Teach the system that success is survivable. You are not self-destructive. You are not lazy. You are someone whose nervous system built a model and is now enforcing it with precision. The problem is that the map was drawn a long time ago, by a version of you that had limited information and no leverage. Understanding this doesn't reset the thermostat immediately, but it changes the relationship. Sabotage becomes a signal, and a signal can be worked with. The finish line isn't the problem. The map is. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. We'll see you in the next one.